want to start off with a traditional tale about what the spiritual journey might be like. It's a Russian tale about a woman who lives deep, deep, deep in the forest. Her name is Baba Yaga. It talks about the honesty that is required of us as we deal with this spiritual life while we're on the path. Baba Yaga is an old woman with wild, crazy hair. She stirs up her pot, and she knows all things about everything. And when you want to get to her, you've got to really go out there in the forest, deep into the scary places, and seek her out. It requires a kind of bravery, because she's frightening. She requires us to go into those dark places and ask those dangerous questions and step outside the world of logic and form. When the first young seeker comes, quaking at the door of her hut, Baba Yaga demands, "Are you on your own errand, or are you sent by another?" And the young man steps back and, encouraged by his quest by his family, answers, "I am sent by my father." And Baba Yaga throws him in the pot, cooks him, stirs him up. Wow. The next one to attempt the quest is a young woman. She sees the smoldering fire and hears the cackle of Baba Yaga. "Are you on your own errand? Or are you sent?" I worked on this a lot, by the way. "By another. By another, are you? What are you here for?" And she said, "Well, I'm on my own errand, myself. I come here because I have to. I'm here on my own." She says, "Throws her in the fire, cooks her up." Wrong answer. The third visitor comes. Again, a young woman, deeply confused by the world, comes to Baba Yaga's hut far into the forest. She sees the smoke. She knows it's dangerous. Baba Yaga confronts her. With what? "Are you on your own errand, or are you here for another?" And the woman answers truthfully. "In large part, I'm on my own errand. But in a large part, I come because of others. And in a large part, I come because you are here, and because of the forest, because of something I've forgotten. In a large part, I have no idea why I'm here." And Baba Yaga says, "Come in. You'll do. You'll do. You'll do. You and I come here on this journey. We go deep into the forest and well of our own being. And it requires a bravery and an honesty that most people are not willing to face. It requires that we take a look at ourselves and look at what's going on inside of us rather than projecting it onto others and making somebody else be wrong. It requires a great honesty to go into the scary places, does it not? And be willing to listen to the world's song. Why are you here? Why are you here? The wonderful poet Rumi says it this way: "This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house and empty it of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing. Invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each one has been sent as a gift and a teaching from beyond." This is the work of inner transformation. This is the work we are involved with. And it's not all song and dance and easy stuff. It means we are willing to go deep into our own being and invite everything that comes to us as an opportunity to throw it into the fire, to allow it all to dissolve so we can evolve into who we truly are. to be human and to be divine. The Divine Mother does this for us. She shows up in her life in so many ways. Today's talk is called Translucent Being. I like that word, translucence, translucence. Translucent objects are neither rock light, where no light can get through, or neither is it just like transparent, like a glass where you walk through it. It's more like a frosted glass. It's more like a stained glass. Its texture and form is maintained, but light still passes through it. I love that analogy. You don't lose your personality by being spiritual. You can't get rid of your ego that easily. It becomes the very thing that the light shines forth from within. Translucent beings don't lose who they are. They become more of what they truly are, and then share that through the gift of their life with everyone they meet in the world. There's a kind of inner glow about us when we work with these translucent practices. We begin to own a kind of power that's not stuck to appearances or glued to what does or doesn't happen. It's a glowingness that happens as your willingness to go into those scary places and own your own energy and glow and grow with the truth of that. People who do this work, and I know you, I see you at work, I see you in traffic, I saw you at Costco, I saw you hanging out at the traffic light. There's a glow about you. There's an inner glow that knows something. And it's because of your willingness to do the deeper practices that you challenge yourself when that gets difficult. On Monday, we were at the Unity Ministers Conference in Raleigh, and I got up early and went to the Y in Raleigh. We got a beautiful YMCA at Raleigh. And it was the day when all of the 25 television sets were focusing on ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch, ding dong, we got the bad guy. And everybody was celebrating, you know, Osama bin Laden. And some people's visa needs to be pulled early. Some people's visa needs to be pulled early and they don't know it yet. And I'm watching that, I'm watching it. I've seen it before, and as a translucent being, I'm looking at, well, what is this about in me? Who is the Osama bin Laden in me? The Saddam Hussein in me? The Adolf Hitler in me? The Mussolini in me? The Pol Pot in me? Who is that in me? That's where I'm looking. That's where the work is. You get rid of one more outside and don't deal with it inside, guess what? 500 more pop up. They're already ready to take on the call. We deal as translucent beings with translucent practices. We deal with it inside of ourselves. And we use everything that happens as a call to put it into the pot and stir it up. We keep asking ourselves, why am I here? And who am I anyway? You know what I'm saying? Everything that happens is a call to come back to the practice. We kind of walk a razor's edge. On the one side of the razor's edge, you know, which is this light that we come from, this unconditional suchness and isness that we are, where everything in this place is absolutely perfect. It couldn't be any more perfect. Everything is just as it should be. And nothing can harm that. On this side of the equation, of the razor's edge, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. That's all that there is. At the absolute level, it's fine. However, at the other side, there's the relative level of the world that we live in. And it's messy here. There's work to be done. You know, get out there and be it in the world. Move it. Move it, move it, move it. Let it shine forth from you. If you were done with it, you wouldn't be here. And believe me, friends, no one more than me loves the mountaintop high experience of the absolute bliss and awareness of God. I love it. I love it. When I first got into the teachings, man, I'm telling you, I figured I had it. My bumper sticker read, ask me about my enlightenment. I'll tell you. I'm there now, 24 years old. I made the declaration of my oneness with the one, never to fall in the valley of the shadow of death. With the rest of those people, I had the answers. the questions no one was asking. And then I met Maureen, who joined with me in translucent practices. Maureen, who was in her 20s with a 3.5-year-old daughter. And she was in the world, oldest of 11. There's work to be done. So I'd come in with my big spiritual platitude. What about the dirty diapers? The car needs fixing, vacuum the floors. Take care of the life you're in. Get back on earth. And the two of us have been a great balance for each other. Because it isn't one or the other, it's both. We live in both worlds. We live in the world of the absolute perfection of everything, and we live in a world where everything is imperfect. And all the imperfect qualities are guests that I welcome to my home, my house of consciousness. When we do this inner work, there's a fearless inventory that happens all the time. True? And that is not always an easy practice. That's why it's not for everyone. Because most people just want to do, ding dong, the bad one is gone. Nothing to do with me, I'm happy now, everything's fine. There's a big happiness everywhere. And then all of a sudden everybody will get mad again and there'll be somebody else to get projectiles and that meanness and that madness. That's not dealing with it inside of ourselves. And until we do that work, we put it off. We put it on somebody else. When you go into the dark forest of your own being, you face yourself, you look at yourself in all your divinity and all your ignorance, and you're willing to see it in whatever way it shows up. So I'm at the traffic light, where is it? At the Wrightsville and Independence, long light. And I'm on my way to go home and take a nap before the class on Wednesday night. I think I told you those of you who were here. And I'm wanting to make a left turn in the 2 left lanes to go off to Wrightsville. And there's this guy in this big diesel truck, big truck, big Ram truck. And he's on the phone, and he's blocking my getting into the 2 left lanes. Right there, of course he is. You know, he's there. And he's got the right bumper sticker for my judgmental self. Pale in 2012. Of course.
Drill, baby, drill.
I'm going to say something now because we are going back into bumper sticker-itis again. There are people in this room who feel the same way about Obama 2012. And that is their complete right and privilege to feel that way. And we who sit in judgment do nothing but throw a wall up around this brilliant light because we think our bumper sticker's right and somebody else is wrong. It is just a bumper sticker, friends. That is all that it is. You can label anybody you want. It is nothing other than a bumper sticker. The problem is not with the bumper sticker. That guy could have been borrowing that car. What do you hate me for? You know how stupid we are. So I'm looking at that tendency in me. And so the light changes, and of course I miss it. And then he gets over in the left lane. Finally he stops unblocking me, and he's right next to me. I love it. And he's still on the cell phone. And I said, there's me. You know, there we are, here we are, here we are. And I want to get out in front of him because I want him to see my Buddha on the back of my window. It's very important that he sees that I'm a Buddhist. And you know, by the time I get to floral, it's over. That's so sweet about the work we're doing. It didn't last long at all. You know, then it was heaven back on earth again. That's what your bumper sticker is. You're welcome in the house of the Lord. Oh my God, can it be that wonderful and ridiculous all at the same time? And it is both that. Neither one nor the other, but it's a teaching that embraces everything. The Divine Mother welcomes everyone home. What is Yogananda's quote about the naughty or nice? I love you just the way you are. Welcome home. No matter how bad you've been, no matter how far you've wandered in a far country, no matter what you think you've done to not be worthy of love, that's a delusion. That's an illusion. You are worthy of all the love that the Goddess has for you. And we need to bless and forgive and be loving and kind to ourselves as we bless and forgive and are loving and kind to others. It's that oneness we need to remember. In the midst of our differences, there's only the one presence and one power. And right now, you and I need to embody life like that, like never before. We wouldn't be here if that weren't so.
you wouldn't be listening to all of this. You would have left a long time ago looking for somebody to blame, looking for some reason why you don't want to be present in this moment. It's not one or the other, it is both. And so we embrace that. We bring it in. The mother brings it in. The mother loves it all. Because we are love. That's what we are. We're never separate from it. We're never separate from it. So you come back to the table again and again and again. I get this sense that we're to be like Zorba the Buddha. You know, mindful and present, but also here and alive for all of it. Yeah? You don't lose the personality by becoming a spiritual being. I often thought that becoming spiritual meant I'd look a certain way and act a certain way. I'd be more Dalai Lama-like. Or I'd be more like Thich Nhat Hanh. Maureen hated this stage of my spiritual growth. Hated the slow eating, the slow dishes, the slow everything. She just said, I'm throwing those tapes out. They were tapes then. You are getting it wrong. Get moving. I gotta get going. She didn't like the total slow Thich Nhat Hanh, 3-hour dishes. Every dish is a pleasant moment. I love different. I'm not Philip. Mr. Bliss Bunny opened at the hearth. Spiritual looks like, oh, I'm gonna be like somebody other than what I am. I'm gonna be like you. You're spiritual. No, you are you. You are your personality. Your personality is with you for life. You don't get off that quickly. So the personality doesn't change. You just become more relaxed with it. Being at the UMass meeting was really, really sweet, because I've known some of you, all of us, have been doing this work. Unity ministers of the Mid-Atlantic states. I've known some of these people for 35 and 40 years. I knew them when they were babies and first got started in the movement. And the truth is, no one's personality, after all these years of practice, has changed all that much. Chad O'Shea is still inappropriate and has a foul mouth. He always did. But now there's a wisdom about him. A sweetness about, this is who I am. I have a lot of energy. Being spiritual doesn't mean I don't have a lot of energy. I still have lots of ups and downs. I can be a raging lunatic one moment and be as sweet and as kind as anyone could want me to be in the next. That's just me. That's my personality. I've learned to embrace it. What's your personality? You're not going to get rid of it by being spiritual. You're just going to become more of divine presence in motion. Divine presence in stillness, divine presence in laughter, divine presence when you're being a complete idiot and getting caught up in your own psychodrama again. You learn how to embrace it all. Because until you can love yourself, until you can accept yourself as you fully truly are in your divinity and your humanity, you hold back the light from glowing and shining more deeply in you. Don't do that anymore. We don't need to. Be authentically you, and let the inner glow show you the way. Let the inner glow be the truth and the light when you play your instrument, when you hang out in traffic, when you go to work, when a guest comes and it's not the one you wanted. Embrace it all. Bring it all in. You're all invited to my house. God says, come on, do the same as I'm doing with you, and welcome it. Welcome it all in, so it can go into the fires of truth, so we can evolve and dissolve into who we are. If we're not willing to do that, if we're not willing to be that awake in our lives, and be that asleep as well, then the healing that needs to happen will be put off until we will. This is our time. This is our moment. This is our practice. So let's look at the lesson summation points. I'm rambling on here. Here we go. Translucent being. Many times a day, ask yourself, why am I here? And don't be afraid to have a perfect answer. Not have a perfect answer. Each day, there'll be some different part of you that will call for your attention. You're not done. It gets very subtle. Keeps coming back up, and you don't just get it once. You get it again and again and again, and then you work with it again. You put it into the fire. You allow your imperfection
to be put into the fire of that which is perfect, and then it makes this great soup we can all feast on. Yes, welcome everything. Becoming more translucent allows us to maintain our current form, color, and texture, and personality by allowing more light to pass through. We become more comfortable in our own skin, and we learn not to take ourselves quite so seriously. That's a huge one. Point number 3. As long as we are here, there'll always be one more illusion to dissolve into the fire pit of a good, healthy spiritual practice. One more thing to look at and throw in the fire of your desire to use whatever happens for awakening. Again, become like Zorba the Buddha, walking the razor's edge of being fully in the world, but not of it. Enjoying the whole catastrophe with full presence of mind. And then there'll be those translucent moments where you appear to be much more than what the world's looking at. This particular photo of my beloved Maureen, which will come up on the screen. If you could lower the lights so we can see it better. Would you mind getting these lights? Just the ones right here in front. This was taken right after we got back from our 28 days in India. It was a retreat that Maureen went on with 50 other women at Seattle Unity. You can see the translucence. Look at her hands. I mean, in that moment, she's being used by the presence. In that moment, the light is glowing forth and blessing others. And we have those moments as well, where the light passes through us. She's not any less Maureen, nor will I be any less Richard. We just become more of who we truly are. And then we're helpful in the world. Then our bodies and our minds and our hearts and our words and our listening can become channels and vehicles through which others can be healed by our touch and our presence, about how we face what is unfaceable, how we own what most run away from, and how we embrace what most people push away. And then the sound becomes different. It moves from, "Why are you here?" to moments where you absolutely and thoroughly get it. A new kind of sound emanates from you. You hear it? It's happening all around us. It's the sound of awakening. And you, as a translucent being, are part of it. Play your part well, beloved. Keep glowing. Keep growing. Keep awakening to who you are. And your sound will become a comfort for all others as we join in the sacred home that brings us all home. Thank you for your willingness to go deep. Blessed Mother's Day.